Today I'm gonna answer some spacesuits questions. Let's go.
How do astronauts go to the bathroom in a spacesuit?
Yeah, this is very funny. So, astronauts have long complained about the waste system in their spacesuits. It is basically a high-tech diaper. It only lasts about 8 hours, and there is always the risk of rashes or infections. On top of that, the suit carries very little drinking water, just 1 liter. That's not much at all, especially when working outside for many hours, or even an entire day in some emergency situations. So, to solve these issues, scientists have developed prototype spacesuits that can recycle urine. The system uses a special vacuum to gently remove waste, then filters it into clean water. The liquid is processed with about 87% efficiency, turning it into distilled water. Then electrolytes are added, and the clean water is pumped back into the suit's hydration system. Amazingly, cleaning half a liter of urine takes only about 5 minutes. A real engineering feat for comfort and safety in space.
What would happen if you went into space without a spacesuit?
So, even a very short, unprotected jump between hatches can be fatal or cause permanent disability. So, without oxygen, you'd lose consciousness in roughly 10 to 20 seconds. Then, hypoxia and circulatory collapse would follow. Your eardrums can rupture, air embolisms, tissues swell and tear, and you're exposed to extreme temperatures and radiation. You wouldn't explode like in the movies, but gases in your tissues come out of solution, forming bubbles. This is a painful decompression effect called embolism. Your blood itself doesn't boil, but the injury is just severe. It's not instant, cinematic, or Hollywood style, but the danger is immediate and serious. This is exactly why suits and airtight airlocks exist, to make spacewalks survivable.
How do astronauts breathe in a spacesuit?
Each spacesuit is essentially a tiny individual spacecraft, maintaining necessary pressure and temperature and a mini atmosphere. The suits are airtight and the pressure is maintained by the breathing mixture itself. Typically, it's just 1 atmosphere, like on Earth, though some space shuttle suits had only a third of that. The backpack circulates air through the suit, removes carbon dioxide with chemical scrubbers or regenerative systems, and controls humidity. Astronauts also follow special pre-breathe and decompression protocols before a spacewalk to avoid complications. Being inside such a suit feels like being inside a tightly inflated tire, which makes moving around quite hard. So, to handle the vacuum, suits always have 2 layers: an airtight inner layer of strong rubber and an outer layer, protective layer of nylon or similar material, keeping astronauts safe.
How do astronauts eat or drink while wearing a spacesuit?
So, eating during spacewalks is rare, even for long excursions. The helmet and gloves make it awkward and risky. Most astronauts hydrate and eat before the spacewalk. Some fluid intake is possible. The suit has a built-in drinking bag with a straw inside the helmet, letting astronauts sip fluids without removing anything. Occasionally, there is a slot for a small snack, like a fruit or a cereal bar, but crumbs must be avoided because microgravity makes small pieces a hazard for equipment. So, food during spacewalks is minimal, controlled, and carefully planned, all to keep astronauts safe and focused.
How do spacesuits regulate temperature in extreme heat and cold?
Many people think that space is cold and that a spacesuit job is to keep you warm. But in reality, it isn't. In space, there is no air, so it's neither cold nor hot. If sunlight hits you, you heat up to roughly 120 degrees Celsius. And if you're in shadow, you can cool down to roughly minus 160 Celsius. The suit's real job is to maintain a comfortable temperature and pressure. The main challenge isn't to warm you, it's to remove your heat. Even an adult produces about 120 watts of heat continuously, even if you're floating or unconscious. If that heat isn't carried away, after roughly 10 minutes, thermal shock could set in. Today, this is handled with a special garment called the liquid cooling and ventilation garment. It has thin tubes sewn into the fabric, and water circulates through them, absorbing body heat. That heat is pumped to the backpack, or the life support module, where a cooling unit ejects it into space via a radiator. The cooled water then returns, keeping the astronauts, well, comfortable, almost like carrying your own portable air conditioner.
Why spacesuits are white?
Well, the first reason is practical. White reflects sunlight and other harmful radiation better than any other color. In the vacuum of space, radiation can harm skin and eyes and increase body temperature. White suits reduce this effect, keeping astronauts cooler and easing the load on the suit's cooling systems, which also saves energy and extends battery life. So, the second reason is visibility. In the vast darkness of space, astronauts are easier to spot in white. This matters for safety and coordination with crew members and ground control, especially in emergency situations where every second counts.
What if a spacesuit gets punctured during a spacewalk?
A puncture is serious but often survivable if handled quickly. Suits aren't perfectly airtight. They have leak compensation systems that add air to counter small losses, giving astronauts time to return to safety. If the hull is small, like 2 millimeters, the pressure loss is slow enough to manage with help from a partner. Spacesuits can even withstand minor strikes from micrometeoroids, thanks to their materials. However, if penetration causes rapid depressurization, it becomes a true medical emergency. In real missions, punctures or glove cuts have happened. Most were minor, absorbed by the suit systems, and spacewalks were ended early as a precaution, showing just how well these suits are engineered.
How do spacesuits protect astronauts from the vacuum of space?
So, as I said before, a spacesuit is basically a tiny personal spacecraft you wear. It's multi-layered, with about 20 different layers covering an astronaut's body. Each layer has a purpose. Some protect against temperature extremes, some stop tiny tears, and there is even an inner pressure bladder that keeps everything airtight. On top of that, there are insulating layers and redundant fabrics, all working together to keep the astronauts safe. The suits used on the moon's surface, for example, weighed around 100 kilograms, but because the moon's gravity is weaker than on Earth, about 6 times weaker, it actually feels like only 16 kilograms on your shoulders, like carrying a heavy backpack. It's hard to imagine, isn't it? The real question is about gloves. How do you make them from such thick, multi-layered material without losing flexibility? So, astronauts need to operate tools, push buttons, clench and unclench their hands. Well, they are surprisingly thin, just 3 to 10 millimeters. Plus, they are inflated from the inside because astronauts breathe normal air and the pressure inside the suit is quite high. Meanwhile, outside there is a vacuum, which makes you feel like a balloon being slowly inflated.
How are spacesuits protected from radiation and micrometeoroids?
As we discussed before, modern spacesuits are like an onion, dozens of layers stacked together. The outer layers are made of strong fabrics like Nomex, Kevlar, and Teflon, which protects against micrometeorites and some radiation. Beneath all of that are insulating layers, slowing heat transfer and helping block harmful ultraviolet rays. These layers don't stop all radiation, but they reduce the dose astronauts receive during a spacewalk. The helmet visor also plays a crucial role. It's coated with a thin layer of gold, so thin you can still see through it, yet enough to reflect dangerous ultraviolet and infrared light. Think of that as the ultimate pair of sunglasses, preventing eye damage and skin burns. While this shields against short term radiation, long term exposure still requires the protection of the spacecraft itself.
How do astronauts scratch an itch when in their spacesuits?
If an astronaut's face starts itching inside the helmet, there are a few clever ways to deal with it. So, one option is gently rubbing against the microphone built into the communication cap, though this can shift the mic and make conversations with Earth a little tricky. Another trick is the Valsalva device, a small foam pad inside the helmet, officially for equalizing ear pressure by blocking your nose. Back in the Apollo days, a piece of Velcro on the foot valve served as an improvised face scratcher, 4 inches outside the face. Retired astronaut Clayton Anderson explained it best. You shake, rattle, and roll, baby. It is funny, but also shows how astronauts creatively solve problems while floating in the vacuum of space.